As you can tell by my very faint and almost non-existent tan, I recently just returned from Mexico. And yes, I traveled during the pandemic. Things are a little bit better right now, so I decided to take a trip with some of my girlfriends. And while I was doing that, I thought maybe I should let you guys in on some of my go-to travel essentials as everyone starts traveling, hopefully a little bit more in 2022, and some things that are key for pandemic traveling and some things that are just important for regular everyday travel. So let's get into some of my favorite travel items. First of all, what am I going to be putting all of these items in? I usually bring one of two, well, technically 3 bags. If I'm not bringing a ton of gear, I'm usually bringing a small, like everyday travel backpack type of thing. And I'm sure you guys have seen in a lot of my camera bag travel essential videos, I always travel with one of the Brevity jumper bags. I have 2 of them. I have the green one, and I think it's called the Cloud Gray. I love these backpacks because one, it can be a regular backpack, or it can also be a day camera bag. And if I'm not bringing a backpack, if I'm traveling even more casually, like I did to Montreal a few months ago now, I'll bring a tote. And my go-to tote is the one from Lululemon. I love this tote because it not only has a laptop pouch inside of it, it has a lot of other pouches inside, one big pouch kind of on the front of it, but it also doubles as a backpack when you need it to. Also, it's really easy to fold up if you need to stuff it into your larger suitcase at any point during your trip. Headphones. There are a couple of different kinds of headphones I travel with. Sometimes I'm bringing all 3, to be honest with you, but the ones that I get really upset when I forget are my AirPods, because they're the AirPods Pro and they are noise canceling. So when I'm on the plane, even if I don't want to listen to anything, even if I just want to sleep, I can turn them on, plug myself in, and just go to sleep, and I don't hear screaming babies, and I don't even hear the plane hum anymore. It's just like peace and quiet. And for that reason alone, I would recommend you get the Pros, not just the regular AirPods, if you are an avid traveler. The other kind of headphones I always bring are just any little earbuds that have a jack, because you're going to need to plug into the entertainment system in the airplane, and you don't want to have to buy the cheapo ones that they sell you on the plane. The third type of headphones that I bring, and that's if I'm working on the go, if I need to be editing some video while I'm traveling, then I'll bring my Sony WX, what is the number? 1000 whatever. We'll show them on screen here. They are also noise canceling headphones. They're amazing. I highly recommend them. So that's a lot of headphones for you to bring, but choose whatever is most important to you. The next thing I recommend you bring is a water bottle. So I know a lot of people have talked about the Lark water bottle, and I think that makes a lot of sense depending on the trip you're going on, because if you're just refilling with tap water from the airport, maybe you want to be able to sanitize it. Maybe you're going to Iceland, you want to be able to drink some what is it, river, maybe you want to be able to drink some glacier water, but you want to make sure it's extra sanitized. I don't know, but you can sanitize it with the Lark bottle, and I think that's pretty cool. I don't own one myself, but my all-time favorite water bottle is this. It's the David's Tea tumbler. It actually comes with a straw. You can see mine is very well loved. It's scratched and dented already, but you can drink from the little spout right here, or you can put a straw in it and drink ice cold water, so it keeps your water cold if you've got ice in it. But if you want to have a tea or a coffee, it'll also keep your coffee hot. So you kind of get a 2-in-1. It's a water bottle and a thermos. And I have a bunch of friends who have this. They all swear by it, say it's their favorite water bottle of all time. You can still hear my ice in it, and I refilled that this morning. So for pandemic traveling, obviously I have to cover this. You're gonna need lots of masks, and you're gonna need lots of hand sanitizer, and you're gonna wanna keep it on the outside of your bag somewhere where it's easily accessible, so you can just squirt that in your hands, do one of these, because you're gonna be touching lots of stuff. The airport has always been a germy place. It has always been a place that you can pick up something, even if it's not COVID. It's also a good idea to switch out your masks often on the trip, and I'm a big advocate for reusable masks, and that's a lot of what I use at home when I'm in Toronto, going to stores and whatever. But when I'm going on the plane, I usually bring, or I'll buy a whole box of disposable masks, and I'll bring several, because I don't want to wear the same one around the airport that I'm wearing on the plane. And especially if it's a long flight, maybe I want to change it out halfway, just to make sure that, one, I'm not getting anything, and maybe I touched the mask and I didn't realize, and most importantly, that I'm not getting anybody else sick, because that's one of the main barriers for me being able to protect other people if for some reason I happen to have something. I also found it really important on my recent trip to Mexico to pay for a data plan, not just because it was convenient when I was traveling around while I was there, but also while I was at the airport and while I had to be ready to show my PCR test, to show my ArriveCan app, your proof of vaccination. There was another form we had to fill out for the Mexican government. There were so many things I had to be ready to pull up at any given time, but there were also situations where I had to fill out a form quickly on my phone. There weren't any physical forms available for me to fill out, and it was something I had to load through a website. And the Wi-Fi at airports is notoriously not great. I mean, the one at our local airport here in Toronto is pretty good, but it's just so much easier to have a data plan and to just be able to pull that stuff up quickly, because it'll slow down your travel process. It stresses you out. Traveling is stressful as it is, and especially during the pandemic, you just want a frictionless process. Next, also, it's very important to be entertained on your flight. So I would recommend you bring an iPad because it's small, it's slim, you can easily slide it into whatever carry-on item you have, whether it's the backpack, the tote, sometimes even a purse because they make them super small now. Or in my husband Chris's case, he loves bringing his Nintendo Switch because he can play Pokemon, whatever on his own, but also if we want to play Mario Kart, you can take off each controller and we can kind of like race each other, and that's been really fun on some of our trips in the past. But the other thing that's great about an iPad is that you can do some work remotely as well. And for me, bare minimum when I'm traveling, I do need to still be keeping up with my social posts, and an app that I use frequently to do that is Canva. This video was made possible by the lovely people over at Canva. I've actually used Canva for quite some time, even before they reached out to me to partner on this video. I originally used Canva to make some of my YouTube thumbnails, and since then they've developed tons more features. If you're not familiar with Canva, Canva is an all-in-one platform to edit your social media posts, posters, newsletters, videos, presentations, proposals, and even help you plan your next big project. Canva Pro has everything you need in one place, no matter what you're creating or sharing. So what's most important for me, because I'm always going back and forth between Instagram and YouTube, and that's their content planner. So that helps me stay organized and keep track of all of my designs between my different platforms. It has unlimited folders and up to 100 gigabytes of storage, so you will never misplace a design again. My favorite feature though has to be the brand kit, because it just makes easy access of my brand colors, fonts, and logos when I'm designing something. I've used Canva Pro for everything from my Instagram stories, both photo and video, proposals, YouTube thumbnails, you name it, because their templates are super easy to use and they look amazing, so why wouldn't I? They actually recently launched a video editing feature, so they've made all of these different short video edits that you can just slot your footage into, customize, change the colors, and here's what it looks like with some of the footage we shot today. And if you're working with a team of up to 5 people, just pay $12.95 a month and you can unlock everything that Canva Pro has to offer. Or you can use this link right here to get a free 45-day extended trial of Canva Pro. Next thing, a little bit obvious, but chargers, converters, and portable chargers. I always make sure that I'm bringing a converter plug because you never know what airport you may be flying through and you may need that. I've run into that problem a few times and I can't actually plug in my laptop or plug in my phone to charge because I packed the actual converter plug in my pack luggage. So don't make the same mistake I did, and always make sure you've got some duplicates of chargers. And a portable charger is also a great idea because if you can't sit near a plug, then at least you can charge some of your necessary devices off of that. Now, for all my fellow photographers out there, I will recommend to you the, yes, expensive Peak Design travel tripod. It is my all-time favorite travel tripod. It is super lightweight. It is super intuitive to use. I actually have a video up here on everything that I love about it and all the different modes that it can do. It has actually a built-in cell phone mount. It has a low mode. It's awesome. I couldn't recommend it more. So if you're looking for a standard, something other than your camera to bring on your trip, this is the one thing that I never leave without. On another note, for those of you who are shooting, editing, whatever, I always bring my hard drives on my person. You're actually supposed to keep those on you and not pack them in your packed luggage, but I know some people do and they don't really think anything of it. You obviously want to keep your files on you. Make sure, 1, they're not being thrown around by whoever, and 2, they're not going to get lost. If all else fails, entertainment-wise, you're gonna want to have a book. Just something analog, okay? Something you can just open. You don't need need to power it on. You don't need to charge it. Maybe you want a quiet, peaceful moment to read your favorite book. I always bring a book. You could bring a Kindle or something like that, but again, you do have to charge it. So I'm a big fan of just bringing a normal book on a flight. The other thing that is super handy for me and for a lot of my friends who travel frequently is some kind of passport case or passport wallet, because having your passport loose, one, gives me so much anxiety. It also really advertises it to everyone else in the airport. It's the #1 thing that people can sell in the black market. So passports are super desirable to steal. So you want to keep that on your person and in something that's a little more discreet. The other thing that's great about any kind of passport wallet is you can keep your ID in there if you want, but I just like having different pockets to put things like my Nexus card, like my boarding pass, any immigration slips that I have, and I can keep it all together so that I don't lose it, because some of those pieces of paper you actually need to get on your flight home, and it's really nice to have something you can just close everything in, zip it shut or clip it shut, and you won't lose any of those items. Another hot tip, and I really pushed to keep this in this video. Some of you this may not apply to, but I think it's so important if you have any medications to take that you keep that in your carry-on. You don't want to lose it. I have a lot of friends this has happened to. They pack it in their main luggage and it gets lost for a day or two, and sometimes it's really bad if you miss a day of a certain medication. So for me, I keep all my medications in my carry-on bag, and all my really important things like jewelry or certain toiletries, because my skin is very important to me, I also keep on my person in my carry-on bag. Depending on how big your toiletry kit is, maybe you can bring that with you on the plane, because that has your toothbrush, some of those things that make you feel fresh and clean even if you don't have, you know, the rest of your clothes with you. That's something I just like to make sure I have when I land. And if you have too much, if you have a really large skincare bag like I do, and I pack that in my carry-on, then I always make sure to bring at least a mini toiletry kit with me on the plane, and that includes things like a moisturizer, because planes are really dry. That also includes maybe like a lip balm or eye drops, just some of those things that you're gonna need throughout the flight. I do have a few recommendations for the types of toiletry bags I would recommend. Another item or bag, if you will, that I always bring when I travel, sometimes I'm even wearing this at the airport, is either a crossbody bag or a fanny pack, just so you have things like your passport wallet easily accessible and also close to your person when you're traveling, because something that happens to at least everyone once in their traveling career is you either lose something or something gets stolen. And when it's close to you on your person, not only is it easily accessible, but it reduces the risk of that happening. So on my last trip to Mexico, literally all of us had one, either a crossbody or a fanny pack, or we wore the fanny pack over our shoulder. And also they have some really fashionable ones now. They are back in style again. It's not just something your grandpa wears. They are cool. Something else you want to keep in your carry-on is a change of clothes. And for me, even if that's just a pair of shorts, a change of underwear, a different small shirt, something really compact. Again, if your luggage gets lost, at least you will have this to wear in the meantime, especially if you're going somewhere warm. Oh, and sometimes I like to pack a bathing suit in there, so at least I can use the pool. And last, but certainly not least, print out all of your important documents. So for example, when you get to the airport, print off your boarding pass. Even if you do have it on your phone, it's really nice to have both just in case. And now it's especially important to have a printed version of your proof of vaccination. If you can, a printed version of your PCR test, a printed version of literally every document you need in case your phone dies, in case something happens and you can't bring it up on your phone, because a lot of these things we are keeping digitally now, and it's important to have backups. You never know what you're going to run into, and your worst case scenario is you can't get to the destination you're going to. All right, that is a long list. I mean, pick and choose what you will, but these are all of the things that run through my mind when I'm packing a carry-on or I'm packing for my trip. So I hope some of these are useful to you guys if you are thinking of traveling in 2022. And if you like this video, please give a like down below, subscribe if you're not already, and hit the notification bell to get notified for all future videos. And I will see you in the next one. Happy traveling. And stay safe.